Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next dose of our Power BI sessions. Uh, uh, Please, in the questions box, can you quickly tell me if I'm audible to you guys? Hello? Okay, that's perfect. So today is the third installment of our Power BI webinars, and so far, what we have learned, we have been applying those outside our moderated sessions. I was part of the unmoderated session that held on Friday and Saturday. The Friday session was for members, and the Saturday session was for future members. The members were discussing the issues that they were facing during the application of what they have learned in the webinars, and I felt like these participants are really applying what they are learning, and that is the objective of these sessions, to learn and apply and practice what you obtain from these webinars. So today what we're gonna do is we're gonna jump back to Power Query, and we're gonna initiate the sections where we haven't touched till now, the features of Power Query that haven't been touched in these webinars. After that, we might be looking into some more DAX functions and some formatting features. And in our next webinar, we will be discussing further about the DAX functions and somewhat whatever is left from our course. So let me check with Khurram if he is ready. Khurram, can you please let me know if you're ready? In the meantime, from the members group, the members who were discussing the issues they faced while applying the features they have learned in the webinar, can someone please explain others what you guys were experimenting in the unmoderated session? I believe the session leader that day was Ghulam Farid. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Feroz,
Anyone
I'm
from
ready
the
now.
members? You ready? Uh, that's great. Anyone from the members group? Okay, Ghulam Farid, I'm unmuting you. You're on self mute. You can unmute and speak up.
Okay. Good evening, everyone, and assalamu alaikum. And I hope everyone must be fine. And as far as unmoderated session concerned, yes, of course, we were discussing, we were trying to recall the 2 days moderated sessions, which is we already done with Khurram sir. And we also try to fix the problem, on the last session, we were unable to have the total number of unpaid invoices. So we also try to figure out, which was also given by Sir Forum, find out why our invoices total was not equal to the unpaid invoices. So we also figure out that one, and we try to revise the how to get the new Meyer and how to add the new tables, and how to go for the query. And so it's all about the revision. And so it was good.
Okay. I'm glad you guys are learning and applying what you are obtaining from these webinars. So, Khurram, I think it's time we just kick off the session. Over to you.
Okay, thanks, Feroz.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, welcome back after a long holiday, right? And I'm glad that whatever you have learned, or what we have discussed in the last two, you revise it, you discuss it, and that's a very, very good sign. Okay, mm, the problem that were we were discussing, that the overdue invoices, right? So I solved it the other day as well. The problem was, if you look at here, the overdue invoices are 47, and now if you calculate 38 plus 2, 40, and these are 747. So overdue invoices are 47. So the other day, uh, we did not calculate this year overdue invoices, right? So in fact, we were calculating all this stuff from the unpaid invoices. So that way, that was our mistake, or the logical error that we were doing. So remember, what whenever you develop some sort of a Maya, it has certain logic in it, and if the logic is correct, the answer will be correct. But in that, the other day, we missed out that part. We, in fact, overlooked this measure. So out of these measures, we have to calculate these overdue by 15 days or 16 days, whatever, right? uh, Overdue is, so these were the two which were not overdue, but which are the part of that measure. So that was actually the problem. Okay, fine. Now let's take an overview of what we are going to today. Uh, we will start with the Power Query, right? What's the Power Query? We learned, or rather we did one or two bits of Power Query in our last two sessions. But today we will discuss a little bit more, some more feature of Power Query. And in fact, I've tried to add those features which you, if you understand those features, you can easily apply or use it in Excel as well, Excel Power Query, right? If you recall my Excel session, I might have discussed the data tab, and in the data tab, there are the query group, right? In that Power Query part, get and transform, that is the name of the group. Get and transform is actually the Power Query in Microsoft Excel. So we will learn, we will discuss all those features that you will be easily applied in Excel as well. So in a way, you are learning Excel Power Query as well, and Power BI Power Query as well. So both the the feature of Power Query in Microsoft Power BI compatible with Excel Get and Transform. So I've identified only those, and we will be discussing those features, right? Okay, that's the first part. Uh, in the later part of today's session, we will discuss some of the formatting stuff, that how we can format a chart, can we format table, matrix, or something like this, right? And if the time permits, we will discuss a few of the DAX functions. There are two types of a DAX function. One is the ordinary DAX function, such as the formula categories that we already knew in the Excel, such as the text functions. We have the text DAX function, right? We have the logical functions in Excel. We have the logical DAX function. So some of the functions of the DAX we will discuss. And in the Wednesday section, we will be focusing only on the time intelligence function. So that is the agenda for today and on of Wednesday. Okay, let me close this window. I don't want to save it. So I have this. Okay. If you look at okay, asking that I should close some of the windows because the voice is deteriorating. Okay, let me close this one. So I have this, and that's it. So I have these. Okay. uh, okay, it looks good now. Am I audible to you? Firoz, can you please confirm? Firoz, if, let me know. Okay, let me check the audio part. It seems okay. That's good. Okay, great. Uh, in the handout section, you may see different files for the day. One is the city data, the conditional column with Power Query, when we have the sample data, right? So let's begin with the city data, right? So kindly download all three Excel files: the city data, the import links, and the sample data, right? So kindly download these because I'm using all these three files today. Okay. Uh, Let me see where is the file of the Power Query. This is the Power Query, and this is the city. Okay, let's do this part. Uh, what you need to do, you need to just link. Okay, before Power Query, the purpose of the Power Query. Let me discuss this thing first. Uh, the You might have heard one term in business intelligence world, uh, ETL. ETL stands for extract, transform, and load, right? So it is a process whereby we extract data from different data sources, Access database, Excel, SQL, or any other database, or from the web, right? So we need to extract. So the first part is extraction of the data from different uh, 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 data sources. So we linked up sources, and then the transformation. The transformation means that we may need to clean our data. Now, what is meant by the cleaning of the data? The cleaning of the data means that we may have data that is not with the other data sources. Maybe we have the field types different. We may have the data types different. We may have a data at one column we have numeric, but instead we want uh, the date type, right? So there are different types of uh, conflict, right? Then we may have certain issues with the textual columns. Maybe a column may have prefix spaces, so we need to fix those. So all the issues that the data may have, we can fix through in the process of transformation. So we clean that data, right? And then we load it into the data model. So with the help of ETL concept, we extract data from the multiple sources, right? We clean that data with the help of the Power Query, and then we load data to the data model, right? So that is ETL: extract, transform, and load. So today we will be discussing the transform part, right? So let's begin. Uh, So first of all, we need to get the data, right? Get data, and we have the Excel workbook. Excel workbook, and we in let's get the connection from um, I have this example. Okay, the city data. So open this, connect this with the Power BI. So it is connecting. Power BI is connecting from the data source name as city. Okay, in this data file or in this Excel file, you may see three different sheets. One is the FSD, right? This is the preview of FSD. This is the preview of LHR and the preview of SKT. And in all of these, you might see, right, or you may see that the structure of three sheets are identical. We have the first data source FSD, right? We have the date column, we have the location column, we have the salesperson, we have the product, we have the quantity, right? Similarly, if you go to Lahore, we have the date, location, salesperson. So all in three data sources or three sheets, we have this. So it means we have in a data source named city data, three sheets, right, of similar structure. Now, what we want to do, we can do a lot of things, obviously, but one of the recommended best practice is that if you have the data source like, right, it is better to transform into a one single file, right? So what we will be doing now, we will combine these three files into one query, right? So all these three are queries. So let's form the data. Now we are not loading it. If I click load, whatever data that is present in these files will be loaded to the Power BI. So right now what I'm doing, the connection is made with these three files or three sheets of uh, Excel workbook, right? And we have something like this. So I am now transforming the data. So let's transform this data. Click transform. This will take you to the Power Query. So we have the Power Query, right? And you may see, let me just drag it down a bit. Okay, fine. Now I have three queries. Queries one, queries two. FSD is query number one. LHR is query number two. SKT is query number three. So what I want to do now? Okay, my objective is that I have another query, right, right over here, right, in the data of Faisalabad, Lahore, and Sham. Because I can do that for the reason that these three files or the sheets have identical structure. So remember that point. If you have an identical structure of multiple sheets, you can combine all these sheets, right, with the help of the Power Query or Excel get and transform. So this is a feature which is identical in Excel in the get and transform feature of Microsoft Excel. So since uh, the files, the structures are the same of these three, I can do it very easily. Okay. Now these three queries are loaded. So what we need to do, we just need to use the append feature of uh, Power Query. So in the Home tab, go to Combine Group, and in the Combine Group, we have Append Queries, right? So click the Append Query. So there are two options, Append Queries or Append Queries. Okay. Uh, if I say append queries, right, it will append it there and then, right, asking by following few steps. But my objective is, and it is recommended, that what you should do, you should have a separate append query. Append query as new is the option right now. So append queries, you see, concatenate rows from two tables into a single table. So we have two tables. No, we have three tables. So three or more tables. So this is three or more tables. Okay, we have Sialkot. This is the first table right now, right? Then we can add this one, right? We can add. We have now Sialkot, Faistabad, and Lahore. So these are the three different files or queries which are there. Now click OK. As soon as I click OK, what it does, it appended all this, right, one after the other, in a way. So we have the Sialkot data, we have the Faistabad data, right, and we have the Lahore. So these three files are appended. Now this is append one, so you may call it a regional data, maybe a combined city data, and click enter. As soon as you enter it, and you may see on the left of the query section, we have the combined city data. Now this data still has few issues. Issue number one, that this is the date type, right? So if you look column header, we have date, but it is 1, 2, 3, right? So 1, 2, 3 represent that this column contains a numerical data or the type is numeric. ABC represent the text type data. We have ABC and ABC right here. So these are uh, text data, and this is what we have, the quantity data. In this particular table right now, one issue that we should have a date type over here. So you can easily fix this issue. Click, and you may see, you see the change type. So the menu, the pop-up menu appears, and in this menu you can have the change type. Right now it is whole number, but we know this is the date, right? So what we can do, we can just change it and then change it to these options, date, time. So right now I select, so this is the date. Now all these are dates, right? So the first thing is done. Now what you can do, just assume that the data is clean now, right? So let's close and load this. So just go close and apply, file under the under close and apply, click this one, and we have three options. Close means that we want to close this without saving the whatever step we have done. Apply means that whatever steps we have done, just apply it, but remain in Power Query editor. And close and apply simply means apply the Power Query steps and close the Power Query editor. Now these are being applied, right? So the data is now loading, and you will see these three queries appear here. Take a minute or okay. So all are there, and right. Let me select the table, and then we have the date, the location, the product, the salesperson. Let the person be at right. Uh, okay, date, salesperson, location, product, and then we have. So if you see, we have this stuff. So that is the first thing that we have done. Okay. Uh, I just recall one of the question that was asked to me by someone that can we export this data into an Excel? So this is the data, and what actually we have done, we have combined files into an one. Now we want that data in Excel, for example, so that we can do very easily. Uh, there is one thing that need to be done, that we should have the name of this table. So we haven't have the date. We don't have the title of. Let's do this first. So in order to give the title to this table in the visualization panel, you may see these three values and format. Go to the format, right? And in this, you should see the title, right? Click the title, turn into on, right? And drop down list on the left of the title, click that, and we have the title text. So let it be combined city data. Combined city data is now the name of the title. And the reason I'm doing it, I will explain it in a bit. So we have just done that. Now I want to extract this, export this data from this table. What you need to do, if you hover over your pointer at the lower right corner here, you should see three dots, right? We have more options, right? So you can filter it, right? Filter and slicer affecting this visual. We'll discuss that maybe in the last session, but these three dots are important at the moment. If you click it, you should see one option which is known as the export data. If you click this, it will ask you where to, maybe the Power Query, right? So this is the Power Query. So combined city data. Now, the reason I told you to provide the title to this table, because if you don't provide the title to this table, it will export with the default name, that is data. So this will be data CSV file. So if you click that, you can we have only one option, which is CSV, and CSV can be easily imported and exported to Excel format as well. It's not a big issue, but this is the compiled city data, and you save it and the data is being. Let me open this. We have the Power Query, and let me refresh it. I don't know where I've combined. Yeah, no, this is the combined city data. If you click it, and you should see the data is, this is CSV file, and we have this nice and clean data of all three sheets into one. Right, so this is what we have. This is the CL code, this is the first level, and stuff like this. You can sort it like this, sort it with the whatever A to Z. So we have CL code, and we have and the first level data over here. So this is how you can use Power Query in order to combine these three multiple files. Now, Feroz, is the question. If anyone has a question, they can ask now.
Yes, there are some basic questions. Mohammed Fahim Islam wants to know, I'm uploading Excel handout, but data is not loading on my Power BI. Any suggestions?
I'm not sure. Maybe it is a protected view, or or maybe it is being used by some other application. We may have opened it in Excel. Close it. Close it. If it is open, close it and try it again. Might
Okay,
work.
Fahim, you can try that. Next up is Arsalan Naseem. He wants to know difference between append and merge.
Just wait for a minute, right? So the second
Okay.
task for the day is merge. That is my second topic.
Okay. Arsalan, you can hold on for a while. Okay, the next one is okay. It's again Fahim Islam. He wants to know, after combining files, I have select apply. Now please tell me how to come to visualization screen.
How to visualization screen?
How to come to a visualization screen.
Okay, if you look at here, we have, okay, visualization screen. So we have, these are the three things that we should know. This is the canvas, this is the a relationship, right? Come here, and there are three panes here. One is the feed, other is the visualization, and one is the filter. Somewhere in between the filters and the field, you should see the visualization. In the visualization, there are two. We have, one is the value, and the second is the format. So maybe he's asking. So if you click format, and you should see the required information or the required thing in the title, right? Type whatever title you want to give it to this. So that may be his question. Yes.
Okay, there are two more questions. Next up is Hasnan Mahmood. Stan is saying, does not Excel allow us to combine files, combine different sheets in workbook into a new file, or we should use Power BI? He wants to know if we can do that in Excel or use Power BI to combine files.
Just one thing, if the data structure or the file structure is the same, what I mean that in this particular example, the structure of all three files are identical. Means it has the same number of columns, column names. If case, either you can use Power BI, Power Query, or you can use Excel, get and transform the feature, right? So that I told you in the beginning that whatever feature I'm covering here in Power BI can easily be done in Excel form. The steps are the
Okay.
same. Everything is the same, right? So you can do that in Excel as you are doing it here.
Okay.
Okay.
Next up
Now the
is
last.
Ghulam. Yeah, the last question from Ghulam Farid. Ghulam Farid is saying date, year, day, quarter are coming separate after applying query in the date field. How to combine them in one cell?
Sorry, say it again. Okay.
Uh, Basically, the segregation of the calendar, that is date, year, day, quarter, are coming separate. He wants to know how to combine them in one cell.
Is it doing it in Excel or in the Power Query? I'm not mm, getting this
I think
point because it is in the Excel sometimes when we get data into a pivot tables and
from
the data.
from the Ghulam Farid is already on unmute. We're gonna just take 2 minutes. Ghulam Farid, can you please speak up and explain what you're trying to say?
Yes, actually, after applying the queries changes, when we have the field, we get the table of combined city data, and when I
Mhm.
selected the date, so it's showing me the date hierarchy. My date is not coming like combined; it's coming like year, quarter, month, and dates are coming separate.
It is in the Power or here uh, in the Power BI visualization.
Yes, in Power BI visualization, and even if we open the combined city data table and I go to the date, so it's showing like date hierarchy, year, quarter, month, and day. So when I select, so obviously in the visualization is also coming up like everything is separate, year, quarter, month, and days. Here your date is but
Okay,
here
just
in
hang.
my Power BI.
Okay, just hang on, just hang on. Okay, what I'm doing, I am going back to the Power Query Editor, right? And
Okay.
in order to do so, what you need to do, just click one of the query, which is the combined city data. That's what I'm trying to edit. Click that, the menu pop up to the edit query. Just this is the edit query. I'm going back to this query. So I can do this again. So what actually is, so try this one. If you click change type, so date time zone, you did you select this date?
Yeah, I have the same. Yes, I have select the date. Yes.
If you have selected the date and if you have close and apply, right, you have done this and to this. Okay, maybe let me add create hierarchy. Maybe by doing this, you might have mistakenly created this one. Create.
No, actually I didn't didn't click it, but because if I click on it, it should be like checked. So it still is unchecked the date hierarchy, but it's automatically coming in my Power BI when we apply the changes.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay, just mm, note this thing. I will explore it. I don't know. It never happens to me, right? I've been using this Power Query for the maybe for the last 5, 10 years, 5, 6 years. It never happened. Uh, just note it down and
Okay.
uh, just email me or email Feroz, and Feroz will email me. Then I will explore it and I will have a look. And if I found a solution for this, or maybe what actually happened, right? I will explain it in the next session, right? So,
All right, sir. Okay. Okay. Got it.
okay,
Thank you.
okay, fine, G. So let's, where were we? Okay, delete hierarchy, deleting the hierarchy. Now, coming back to this edit query stuff. Now, a few more things that discussing here as well. Okay. Now, how many rows do we have? We have, for example, we have 69 rows, right? Uh, if you look at this data, right, we have 11, 11, 11. These, to look at row number 3, 2, 3, and 4. These are although three different transactions, right? We have the Sialkot, Javed Bhatt printer sold these many quantities, right? Printer 6 and then 2. So 8 printers were sold, right? In the first session, someone asked me that how we can control that if the data size is huge, right? Uh, is there a way to reduce the size of the data, right? So Power Query, with the help of the Power Query, we can do just like this, right? So this is one of the techniques in order to reduce the size of the data. Means I can reduce the number of rows. Right now I have how many rows? I have 69 rows. If you look at here, I have another rows which is 66, 67, and 68. We have almost identical information, but in 3 different rows. Means these are 3 different transactions. Similarly, we may have some other. We have maybe okay, whatever. Javed Bhatt 6, Javed Bhatt projector. No. Okay, might be there are some different uh, instances like this, right? So what we can do, okay, we have one more. We have 15 April Pervez Khan, 15 April Pervez Khan, and 15 April Pervez Khan. In fact, a projector. So we have 3 different instances whereby we have 3 different rows of the data which are identical. But the transactions are different. So what we can do, we can reduce this by uh, using an option which is known as the transform. In the transform, we have the table and we have the group by option. Right? What we can do, we can use this group by option. This is the group. Just wait it. Now I have clicked group by, and now what I can do, I can combine these 3, right? I can combine these 3, right, into one row of the data. So in order to do so, what I need to do, I need to go to the advanced settings, right? So how many columns do we have? We have the 1, 2, 4, 5. So if I combine these, it means these should be added. So what we can do, so the first step is group by date. So if these are identical, then these has to be grouped by date. So we have date, then we have add group. And in the add group, we have the second, that is the location. So add the location. First group by date, then group by location, and then group by salesperson. Now we have salesperson. And the fourth one is the product. Then is the product. We have, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4 grouping levels. So the highest is date, then location, then salesperson, then product. Now, operation on this will be, the grouping is based on the sum. So we want to get the sum of these quantities, right? And the quantity. So we have, I repeat, I have the date. First level is the date because these are occurs on 11th of February, right? Location is the same, salesperson is the same, product is the same. Only difference is quantity. So we want to get the sum of these three, right? And these are the grouping levels. Then we have the operation is sum because we want to sum it, and the column is of the quantity. Now click OK. If you click OK, and you see your data is now grouped, we have on 11th of February, Mr. Butt sold printer, right? And the quantity is how much? 10, 6, 2, and 2. So you can rename this. You can rename this by the quantity. So it is renamed, right? Now we have the quantity, and now you can close and load file, close and apply. So the changing has been applying, and now we have the different set of data. Now going back to this, we have the edit, and if you can see initially how many rows do we have? 9 rows, and now it is reduced to 56 rows. So it will help us to perform operations within BI on this data set quite efficiently as compared to the data that we have mm, files which have long millions of records. So we can reduce the number of rows by this particular feature of the Power Query. I hope you have understood this concept. Okay, now let me, okay, not here. So we have group by option here as well. There are few more things that you can do with the Power Query, right? Let me do a easy stuff quickly on this. We have this, for example, and what I want to do, I want to transform this into lowercase, right? So if I select here, it will change to lowercase, right? If I click the location, right click, go to transform, it will change to the uppercase, right? If you click the transform and transform, you have different options. Lowercase, uppercase, capitalize each word, trim. Trim means that if you have the data, if you have spaces in between the words, left of the word, right of the word, all the spaces will be eliminated with the help of the trim function. With the help of the then we have the clean. Clean means that if there are certain non-printable characters exist in this data set, this will be cleaned with the help of this operation, right? Okay, okay, right? So with the help of this Power Query option of the transform, what you can do all of these stuff. So JSON, XML, these are something different. Uh, uh, these are out of the scope. But for these you are familiar with, you can transform your textual information with these options easily, right? In Excel, you need to function, but here it is trimmed already, right? Then we have the change, we have the transform, we have learned that you can replace, right? You can replace, for example, uh, okay, for example, I want to replace Sialkot with SKT. So this is the Sialkot. This is the Sialkot, right? And this is, for example, SKT, and click OK, and you should see Sialkot with SKT. Okay, you see that the values can be changed, replaced. It can be done easily. Then we may have split columns. You can split column. Okay, let it be, for example, salesperson. So what I can do, I can split by delimiters, right? By delimiters may be a space, right? If you click this and you have seen different options. You have space, so comma, comma, space. These are the different types of delimiters. So this is the space. Now look at here we have a different set of options here. Split at leftmost delimiter. So this is the leftmost delimiter. So if you look at this example, maybe we might have not in here, but in some other example. For example, my name is Muhammad space Khurram space Khan, right? So if to split the Khan, for example, Muhammad Khurram in the separate column and Khan in the separate column. So I should have used this option, the rightmost column, because I want to split Khan from Muhammad Khurram. So here I have the leftmost delimiter. I want to split Pervez into one column, Khan into another column, right? Code character, no, none, and then click OK. And you should see that Pervez Khan. And then again, if I can close and apply, and you should see whatever changes I have done in combined city data, it will be reflected here. Okay, because what will happen, we have the salesperson, right? So you see that it's been changed. Okay, apply this. Okay, apply this. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, fine. Again, you can go back to the edit query and salesperson 1, salesperson 2. You can always change to say first name, FIRST, first name, and last name or the surname, whatever. So these are the few of the things that you can do with the Power Query. Now we will be doing, let's combine it, close and apply. And you will see these will be changed to first name and the surname. Salesperson, that's good. Okay, there is one more thing. There is one more thing you can do with this, and I think I should be discussing here as well, because in the otherwise I have to do uh, uh, query. For example, we have this data, right? We have this date. What you can do, select the date. Now we have then transform from the tabs, right? And then go to the date and time column. Now what you can do here, you can do some of the function here as well. For example, I want to extract the year of the date, right? Click the date, then select year, and then we have year, right? If you click here, you will see I have somewhere here extracted the year. So I have the, okay, sorry, the thing that I have left. So if you want to transform this date into an year, you can use this. What we need at the moment is we want to create a column for the year, for the month, and the stuff like this. So in order to do so, go to the add column. So this is the add column. In the add column, you can see we have the from, date, and time. If you click date, the we have year. If you click year, you should see another column. Let me move date here. So if you click here and move your pointer here, and you should have somewhere here. Release it here. So I have the date column and I have the year. So I can get the month number. So the month, I want to get the month name. So this is the month name, the name of the month. So this is the name of the month, right? So we have the name of the month, January, February, and stuff like this. And if you want to get the date from this column to the day, and I want the day, this will fall on this post, right? Post week. Maybe I want to get the name of the week. So day, the name of the day, the name of the day is whatever this the vanity. So what you can do, you can add column uh, based on this that column. You can extend your year, month name. right? Even the quarter, even the week, quarter of year, start, quarter of year, and whatever, right? So week, quarter, month, year, all sort of calculation. You can do that in the Power Query as far as the date type is concerned. So these are the few of the things that you can do with this Power Query option, right? So let us do some merge feature as well. Now go to okay. Feroz, is there any question on this part of the Power Query section? The append and uh, the column, mm, date column, and the transformation of the text. If there is any question, you can
Yes,
ask.
it is somewhat related. Dinuki wants to know if we want to present our information based on financial years, for example, March to April, how can we do that?
March to April. Okay, in that case, you need to define layer, but that is not here. But it is in the with the help of the DAX function. You can set the fiscal layer uh, over there with the help of the DAX function, and maybe we will be discussing in the last session of the Power BI when we doing the time analysis, where we may decide or we may set the fiscal year, right? I hope that answers. Next question. Feroz?
We can move on. We can move
Yes.
on.
Okay, fine. Let's close and I don't want to, I want to get rid of this. So I want to close it, right? And I want to, rather, I want to delete all this stuff. Right? Discard changes, whatever I have. Okay. Now let's develop something from the scratch. Blank new Power BI sheet, right? Close this. Don't want to save it. I want to this. I want to save it. Okay. Get sample data of, or right, this. And now we will be working on this sheet. So what I want to know now, I will be using function now. What is merge function and how we should use it? That is the next 20 minutes will be based on this. Okay, fine. Get the data. This is get Excel workbook, right? The sample. Okay, remember we will be using data for BI Wednesday session. So you should have this file downloaded, right, with you on. Okay, now we have these are the files, right? If I open this particular file, this is a sample data for PI. Let me show you that in Excel. Okay. Now, if you look at here, I have in sample data for BI workbook, I have 4 sheets: sales rep TB, product TB, city TB, and fact TB. Right. So these are the 4 sheets. In this 4 sheet, I have table. I have a table, right? Uh, this is not a range. If you see, I have a name of the table which is sales rep TB, right? Similarly, I have another table which is the product, stuff like this. So that is the reason you may see 8 different files. Uh, Sales TB and the replica of sales TB, like here. We have the city TB3, we have the fact TB4, and we have the fact TB, right? So click any one segment. We have this one, we have this one, and we have this one, right? So we have these 4 selected and then loaded. Okay, load these ones. City TB, fact TB, product TB, sales. So we have 4 files, and remember we will be working on these 4 files. So we these on the field pane, still evaluating city TB. It will take a time. Taking queries, connection in model, and then it will load. Load data to model. At times it takes time. Right now it is doing so quickly. Fine. These files contains a lot of data, right? So that may be the reason it takes detecting relationship, right? And it will take, I think, okay. So you may see we have 4 tables: the city table, and the sales recipe. Kindly focus this uh, uh, 10-15 minutes. These are very, very important. If you look at the fact table, so let me get this table. Transform into a table. So look at this. I have this one. I have the date, city code. I have the product code, sales, and I have the quantity. So these are taking too much time. Maybe there's a light. The light has gone. It's running on. the laptop battery that contains. Okay, fine. Look at here. These are the code: the city code, the product code, and the sales rep code, and the quantity. We don't know what 4 means. What we want to do, we want to create. What we want to create a file, maybe a new file, right? And we want to get the value of city code from the city, right? For example, if I drag this like this, I should have get the city value. And if here, okay, so 4 represents Goda, right? And 3 represents the Goda. What I want a file like this one. Let me, this one, I want to get the product from here one, right? Want the sales rep, which is this one, and maybe I want to have the product margin. I want to have the product margin here, and I want to have the price of the product somewhere, right? So that is our requirement. What we want to do, we want to get a new query. We want to get the new query that will take the data from multiple uh, files into one. So if you look at here, uh, the the product code is one, and the product description is product A. The product is 10, and the profit margin is 0.40, right? Sales rep code is 2, and the sales rep is big. So just remove the code. Just remove the code. This is the product code. I want a query right over here, right over here, right over here, right? And that query or that file should have data like this. So that we want to achieve now, right? And that is with the help of the merge query. So let's do it. Select any of the query, go to edit query, go to Power Query Editor. We have that, right? Go to the fact. We want to play with the fact. This is the uh, first of all the city code. If you click the city table, we have city code 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we have this description that is based on. Sorry, we have assigned a code to a city. Lahore code is 1, Karachi code is 2, Sialkot code is 3, and so on and so forth. So what we want to do, instead of these codes, we want values of or the description of these code here. So in a way, I'm merging the values of the city table in this table, right? So let's see how we can do that. No, now we are doing the merge queries now. Initially, append is used to combine multiple files that have a similar data structure, but here you can see the structure are different. So we can merge in a way that we can get the value of to be used in another file. So that is what we call merging. So let's do that. Merge queries. So click merge query as new, maybe merge query new. So we have merge query is new. It will take a bit of time as we have. So we have the fact table, right? And we have, so we are doing the CTT. Now look at here what we have. We have from the fact table, this is the fact table, right? And this is the city table. We have selected that. And in the city code, right? Click this one. In the fact table, select city code. And then in the city table, select the city code. Now you see we have the selection match is 5819 of this rows from the first table. Now what it does, it will take matches this value, right, and replace these values with Lahore. So or rather insert values of column city. There are different types of join. I will not be discussing in detail what are these, but left outer join is first, all records from the first and matching from the second, only the matching from the second, right? That is the case. That I'm just now what you will be getting here, you will get the new column contain the table, a city table, and the content of this is table, right? What is it is asking, this column says the merge query says that you have in this particular column the content is taken from city table, right? And this will be matched as per this particular code. Now, what you can do, if you look at here in the city label, there on the right of this column, you should see two arrows on the opposite side. If you click at, it will be asking that values that you want to extract from this table. So we don't want to extract the city, rather we only expect to get the value of the city. So the value from this particular column. You see that we have only two columns in the city table. One is the city code and other is the city. I don't want to get the city code. I just want to get city. So click OK. If you click OK, you will see that I will have the corresponding value of city from based on this city code. If you look now, the label of the value is now changed. City, it says that the city column, the value of the city column is is what we are getting from the city table. Let me do one more with this. Now we have the product code. Now in the product, right? I want to get margin. I want to get the price, right? So let's do that in the now. This is a new query. We have merged as new. So change it. Maybe you call it uh, mm, transaction. All the information here. Detailed transaction statements, whatever. So this is the case. Now I have the detailed transaction, right? I want to do this. So this is the table. Now I want to go to the merge queries. So this is the detailed transaction table, right? Then I will be selecting, this is the product, and now what should I match? This is the product code. Now this is the product code. These are the two columns on the basis of which these two, the data from these two files will be merged. Again, left out join, click OK, and we have got the same thing. Click OK. Now this time we don't want to get product code. Instead, we got product, margin, and price. So these are the three columns we want to get from the product. Click OK, and you should see the product A, uh, the profit margin, and the price, right? And the last thing is again the merge query, and left with the sales rep. This is the sales rep TB. This is the sales rep code. This is the sales rep code. Click OK. We should get a new column, which is the sales rep TB. Expand it. Then I don't want to get this. I want sales rep. Click OK, and I will get all these values. Now you can replace these values by this is sales rep. Press enter. This is price of the product. Then this is the profit margin. This is the product. This is the product. And then this is the city. And go back. Now we don't want to have these because we have all values of city, sales rep, and the product. So what you can do, you can select all of these by using the control key and click, and then right click, and then you have the remove columns, right? So you can see we have the date type, we have the city, everything seems okay, and we have the sales rep, and then close, and we should have a new table with the name detailed transaction, right, somewhere here. Okay, so yes, we have. So let me this one. Okay, we have detailed transaction table, and if I click the make a new table, we have the new table. Let me get the city, the date first. Not here, not here, not here, not here. Here. Okay, now I have the table. I have the table here. Now the date, I have the date, I have the city, I have the product, I have the price, I have the profit, I have the sales rep, and I have the quantity. This is almost identical with this table. Are the values that are taken from these four tables: the city TB, the fact TB, the product TB, and the sales rep. Now I have only one table, which is the detailed transaction table, right? And it contains all the values from the city, fact, product combined, and this is what is all about. Remember VLOOKUP function? This is the VLOOKUP function that also addresses the multiple VLOOKUP values. Right, so any question on the merge queries? Yes, Feroz, it's question time.
Okay. I think the relevant question to this specific topic is Zara Aziz's. She wants to know, before applying Power Query, do we need to make linkages in the sheets first?
Not required. there is no, okay, look at here, I never, uh, because it is already auto detected, right? So this thing is not required. So you don't need to establish or create a relationship here. There is no need to do that because these are separate files, right? Uh, I'm uh, if you want to get the related information in a new table, you can do this by merging. Relationship is a model which is called the relational database. The primary objective of this is that to split the main data into separate tables. This will help us in maintaining the data correctly, right? For example, if you look at here, uh, we have, let me open this. For example, this is the city tab, right? If I change it, say, for example, Lahore to, say, Islamabad. So what will happen here? I've changed only once in this particular table, which is city table, right? So it will take the impact, take this impact on the thousand of the rows where the Lahore comes. It will replace from Lahore to Islamabad. That is the beauty of the relational data model. The size is reduced, the data size is reduced, right? And these are for some other purposes as well. But in order to merge file, right, there is no restriction to create a relationship among these four files. Here, in a way, in fact, that what we are doing it runtime. For example, if I'm editing query, right? Okay, let go. This is right. So I'm merging it, right? I'm doing it runtime. Let me, for example, select any one. So what actually I'm doing, if when I've selected the columns, right? So in a way, I'm creating a relationship runtime once, and I will get the data from verse. I hope that answers. Yes. Any other question?
Uh, yes, Jara also wants to know where is the file saved after applying closing the editing in Power Query editor.
Sorry, I was unable to listen to you clearly because your voice is spotted.
She wants to know where is the file saved after closing Power Query editor.
Okay, when you save it, right? If that will the part of the data model. It is in the PBIX file. If I save it, if I save this file, right, the type of the file is, or the extension of the file is PBIX, right? Okay, one more thing which is important, you should understand it, and that this is only a data model, right? This is only the okay, whatever these are the data model. These are the files within the data model. The data that is in the data model is resided somewhere else in a different form. It, tables. Whatever we have done in the Power Query, all the steps which are done, right, it will be replicated automatically, and we have got the data as we want in the data model, right? So this is saved in the PBIX file of this particular file, which is the type PBIX file. What you can get if uh, I understand it correctly, what you can do, you can get the extraction, or you can get uh, the data exported from this table, right? The way earlier. But the answer to your question is that whatever function or the feature or the step you have applied in the Power Query editor, the resultant file dataset will be saved as a query in the PBIX file. I hope that answers this question. Okay, guys, hurry up. We have some more query functions to do. Is there one last question from this side?
You can continue.
Yes. Okay, fine. Okay, let's do one more important thing. Okay, let's I'm taking a new and closing this file. See if you have so conditional column with Power Query, right? So download and upload this or connect the I have instances. I have this file in Power Query conditional Power Query. Okay, so that get this data from Excel. Then we have hmm, access data somewhere. Power Query. Okay, let's get this data. Okay, now two more important things that we will be doing here. So we have seen that we can create a date column with the help of the we have this HR data, connect this one and unpivot data. So connect both of these, right? HR data and this. You should have these two data models, data and the unpivot data. Load. So data set. We are trying to do now. At times, in our data model, we want to an extra. We have seen that we can create a column, right, by using this function. Another way of column in Power Query that we can do that. So this is some of the data I have. For example, we have the. Let me use this. Let me use this one. I have this data. I have the employee code. I have the name. I have the department. I have the age, designation, stuff like that. Now what can I do? I can create a calculated column here, the new column. So this is the new column. For example, I want to add a revise basic pay, for example. So here revise, let revised basic. So that we can do, for example, I have the basic pay, and I want to multiply it by, for example, 0.1%. So this is the result of, right? So this is the result of plus. So we have basic pay plus this, the result of this working on, right? So some sort of thing that we want to do within the Power Query. So that we can do very, very easily with this go to select HR data edit query, and then okay. So we have this here, we have the basic, and what we want to do, we want to uh, add column, and we see what we can have. We have the custom column, right? Click this custom column. So we should get something. Okay, custom column. Maybe you can say is the increase in basic pay. So this is the name of the column that is being added. Then the available column that we have is, say, for example, insert it. So I have inserted twice. This is the basic pay. So what I what I have now, I want to multiply it by 0.1. So basic pay, increase in basic pay is this much, and click OK. And what you may see, you can see another column which is increased in basic pay. Right now you can see stuff. We can have a custom column again, right? So the revised this basic pay, I have the column which is the basic pay, the old one, insert it. Then I have the plus one, and then I have the increased in basic pay. So click, and what we should have, we have this sort of, and then click and load, close and apply, close and apply, and we have the same stuff as okay. So it will take time. We have the revised basic pay, revised basic pay, increase in basic pay, right? All is the same stuff, right? So let's go back to the edit query. And let's delete these columns, this one, and delete right click, and remove this one. Now, at times, we want to say multiply basic pay based on certain conditions. Maybe uh, if so, look at some of the values here. We have 20,000, we have 23,000, 15,000, 18,000, etc., etc. So let's develop a slabs, and based on we want to multiply some uh, a basic pay by some value, and we have to have certain calculations involved. So what we can do, we want to add a column, right? We want to add a column, and you see in the journal you have a conditional column. Click on the conditional column. Then in the additional column we have new column name. So select this one. Maybe it called a revised basic pay. Basic pay. Right. Now the column name is the basic pay, which is this is the basic pay. Now I'm constructing a calculation, the logical framework, and that is that I say that if the basic pay is greater than or equal to 20,000, then the basic pay should be multiplied, or let me, this is increment, increment, right? So the increment. So if the basic pay is greater than or equal to maybe I say 20,000, then okay, then the increment is say 0.2%, 20%, right? So maybe if the basic pay say is greater than or equal to say maybe 15,000, so and it should be 0.15%, right? Then I can add okay, and else part. So 2 and else part is 0.1%. Now click OK, and you should see these are the increment, or maybe in terms of percentages. Let me increment. So this is increment percent. So what you can do, you can just um, close and load, and you should get close and apply. You should get this into data model. So we should have, so this is the increment in percent, right? So if you have any question on this part of the Power Query, you have a minute to any of your questions. Rose, if there is any question, it's a time for one.
Your
Rose,
voice was breaking a lot during the explanation. Can you just give a quick recap?
okay, what we can do, okay, we have learned earlier that we can create a calculated column with the DAX functions in the itself, right? But there is another way in the Power Query. We can create a calculated column, right? A simple calculated column and a conditional calculated column with the help of the Power Query. So that we have discussed that how we can do that in the Power Query. Uh, uh, go to the, for example, transform Power Query. Go to Power Query editor, and then we have the add column. In the add column, we have the custom column. Custom column is for the simple calculation that we want to perform, a simple mathematical, either add. If I click this one, uh, right here, we have to type the name of the column that we want to insert into the query, right? Then we can use the available columns within the query and utilize these columns in developing an expression, and the resultant value will be saved in the column with this particular name. So that is one way of adding a calculated column in the Power Query. That is a simple calculated column. Another way of uh, adding a calculated column, which is the conditional column. In the conditional column, right click the conditional column, we can have a simple condition or the multiple condition. We can make use of this grid, make use of this dialog box in order to construct our logic, the if then else form, right? And on the basis of this uh, logical calculation, the values will be inserted accordingly into the column with the name we specified right over here, right? So that was the summary. That is the summary of done so far as far as this topic is concerned, right? I guess that's clear. Yes, Feroz, is that okay, or there is an
Yeah, for that's fine. Zara Aziz wants to know, this is also dealing with calculation, then how it's different from measure function. Like she wants to know what is the difference
okay?
between the measure function and calculated columns.
Okay, in within the data model, always uh, mm, uh, delete the calculated columns in the data model, right? Uh, if you look at here, let me just file close and load. We have created a column. All okay. For example, this is from uh, uh, within the a Power Query, right? So here we have the formula here, right? We have the formula here. We have the formula. No, we don't have the formula here. Okay, so the main difference between the two is we don't have to, if using the Power Query, right? We can always go to this uh, uh, data mode here, and we can modify there and then. But in order, and this part is more flexible, right? This part is more flexible in the form, in the way that we can always we can, if there is a change in the variable values or the values which are used in the calculation, we can always go back and then we can use this uh, right? But as far as the increment or the calculated column that we developed, if you look at here, this is the column which were created, which were inserted using the Power Query. We cannot have this. So we, in order, we just need to go back into the edit query and then go that. So the whatsoever, if you share this file to somebody else, and if you don't provide you the credential for or the valid permission, he or she won't be able to modify on the calculated column that we created or that we inducted in the Power Query. But whereas uh, in the calculated column, somebody can modify these values and perform the calculation accordingly. So that is the major uh, between the calculated column using DAX and the calculated column using the Power Query. I hope that answers. Yes, one last question.
Okay, Khurram, let me check. Khurram, there's a question from Sayeda Asif, but it's not entirely related to what we are doing right now, but I think it is an important question. She's saying that I tried adding map visualization to my company's data, but it did not recognize cities for me like Islamabad, Lahore, and map did not load as well.
Okay, do we have a there is columns, uh, there should be a mapping columns or the data that you have, the longitude and stuff like this. If you have in the city column, for example, if you have the city table and the Lahore, so you have to add the coordinates, right? You need to it's for the location to exactly map over the map, right? So what you need to do, you need to add the latitude and the longitude column within your in your data table that contains the uh, information about the city. Do that, you induct or you use this longitude and latitude column that correspond to the city. It should do it perfectly, right? So that is the key question and the important one as well. Okay, I think it's almost 8 o'clock. Let me go very, very quickly what we have done today. Today we have only focused on the Power Query, some of the Power Query features. And remember, these are important features. And whatever functionalities we did today, these are all with Excel Power Query get transformed. If you have Excel 2016, it is there. You can easily use all these features in your Excel. We have done the append feature, how we can use the append feature using Power Query. The Power Query is the append feature is done normally when you have multiple files with the same table structure. The table structure, I mean that uh, 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 the files have identical columns, identical names, right? It different types of different number of rows, but it doesn't matter. But the important thing is that the type of the type structure, the file structure should be the same. If it is the case, then you can easily combine multiple files into one and use it for your analysis. The uh, second thing that we have discussed the various features. For example, we have seen that how can we modify, how can we clean a data. We have seen that we can add column based on the date. We can expect the year column, the month name column, the day name column, and stuff like this, right? So we have also discussed that how we can manipulate the textual data. We can transform into, say, for example, if there is a data we want to convert into an uppercase, proper case, we can find and replace, right? We can trim, we can do a lot of stuff with that. We have seen that We can even split the column, text column based on the delimiters. We can also split based on the length. Say, for example, if you want to extract only the first four letter, we can do that. We have discussed that. Then we have also discussed how to insert calculated columns, a simple and a conditional calculated column using the Power Query. And we have also discussed how we can merge different files into one file so that uh, it can be used in a proper way. Of the good best practices, if you have a uh, short files, right? For example, if you have uh, 2, 3, or maybe maximum of 4 files to play with, then what you can do, uh, it's better to merge all of these files into one, and then you can uh, perform various DAX function or perform different types of analysis very easily, right? So it will be convenient for you to use the DAX function, even the complex a DAX function easily. But if you have the data split it across different files, so at times you need to do something extra, some more thing in order to apply the DAX function. So it is mm, uh, uh, recommended if you have 2, 3, 4, uh, and you want to get uh, uh, analysis to be done on these 4 files, it is better to merge the data of all 4 files into one files and perform your analysis, right? So that what we have learned today. Uh, I guess these are important things that you should know. And the good thing about this part of the session of this Power BI session is that what you have learned here, what we have discussed here, is equally applicable to MS Excel, right? So that's what we have done so far. Now, anything that you want to say, or anything that, or is there any questions?
No, Param. Let me check again once more.
Okay.
So, Sayyid Asif, the next session would be on Wednesday, and that would be the last session for Power BI. Today is not the last session. Arsalan,
Okay.
I'll get back to your question.
Okay,
Yes,
Feroz,
Karan.
there is one thing that I think in the meantime you scan through the questions, right? There is one thing that
Sure.
might be interest of few. We have learned, we know how we can use the pivot table in Microsoft Excel, right? And there are times that we or you may get the data or a file that is in this particular form, right? So this is, for example, this is a report that contain uh, a, a, a designation here, department here. So we have assistant. There are 3 assistants in admin department. There are 0 assistant in HR department, and we want to perform a few operation on this, right? But we cannot do that. So this report is a pivoted uh, uh, report. So what you can do, you can unpivot this data, right? This is the report we have, right? And we want to unpivot. So from that we can have the pivot table like this, we can unpivot. So in order to do so, get this into the query, Power Query editor. Then you have the transform, and any column section, you have the unpivot column, and you have the unpivot other column, right? If you click that, you may see you have the different options to, right? You can have this, right? Or you can have, you can this thing, right? uh, and you can have designations, you can have the, right? So in a way, you can have different. You have the a designation, you have maybe the department, DPT, have the count, right? So this is how you can uh, unpivot a pivot table, right? So this might be the interest of few of the participant, and if they want, if they have the data like this, then you can always form it into this a particular form, that is pivot to unpivot. We can always develop a pivot table from this data source in the same way as we have the report we have. So from my side, that's it for the day. Now is question time. If there is any uh, I will try to answer. If there is no question, let's then call it a day.
Yes, people, questions if there are any. If you don't have any question, can you please provide a feedback about how the sessions are going? Are you finding interesting features? Are you trying to apply what you're learning here? A small feedback would be appreciated.
Okay, as I mentioned that you can use all of these features in Microsoft Excel 2016 in the get and transform section of the data, right? So apply a few of the features what we have discussed. Try to use Microsoft Excel to do the same thing, right? And get me the feedback on Wednesday that what is your experience. So that will be your task for the next session. I hope the task is clear, Rose.
Yes,
And I think that will be the good thing, because
sure.
majority of my friends in my other organizations, they ask me the same question: how to do that, how to do that. So these are the easiest way. So if you learn techniques or the features of Power Query of Power BI, you can apply all of this stuff in the Excel. Okay, so I will be waiting for your
Just repeat the task for Zara. She wants to know what's the task.
the task is that whatever we have learned on these files in Power BI of the Power Query, right? Use Excel Power Query, which is actually the get and transform, that group of the data tab, right? All apply all those features using that in Excel.
Okay, I think that's clear. I think there aren't any questions, and let's just call it a day. See you
Okay.
guys back on Wednesday.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
Varun.
Let's. Okay. There are. Let me just recall what we want to do. What we should do in the next session. there is one thing that is left from today's agenda, and that is formatting stuff on the tables, on the chart. So we will start from there. In the next session, we will spend hardly 15 to 20 minutes at the max on the formatting tips and or the functions or functionalities of the tables or the charts, and then we will move on the various DAX functions. So that will be the agenda for the next session, right? So that's what I'm trying to say.
That's perfect.
Call it a day.
Yes. Okay, Khurram. Thank you so much for giving us your time, and I would like to thank all the participants who attended today's session. Do provide your feedback. If you haven't provided your feedback here, do provide your feedback in the WhatsApp group. What you are learning, or is there any function that you want to learn, any specific DAX function that you want Khurram to practice during the live session? Feedback would be really appreciated, and we'll see you guys on Wednesday. uh, that's all for today. We're already 9 minutes past 8, so bye bye, take care of yourselves.
Okay, bye bye from my side. Take care.
No, no.